Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into ethical point. Look, if you're an aspiring IAS officer staring down the barrel of UPSC GS Paper 4, you already know the real challenge, right? It's translating those grand, dusty philosophical quotes into razor-sharp, practical administrative tools. So let's strip away all the heavy jargon. We're going to discover exactly how these concepts actually apply to real-world public service together. All right, so here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, Thiruvalluvar on crisis and calm. 2, William James on AI and mindset. 3, Swami Vivekananda on morality versus laws. Number 4, we'll synthesize all of that into the complete ethical officer. And finally, number 5, we are going to crack the exact anatomy of a high-scoring mains answer.
Okay, Section 1, Thiruvalluvar on crisis and calm.
Now, you might be sitting there wondering, how on earth does an ancient Tamil text help a modern district magistrate handle a sudden geopolitical shock, or, say, a pandemic panic? Well, let's call a quick timeout for a layman's definition. The core concept here is equanimity. Basically, it means remaining calm, emotionally stable, and totally composed in adverse conditions. And listen, in the civil service, this isn't just about feeling peaceful. It is literally a tactical tool to prevent the entire system from fracturing.
Thiruvalluvar actually captures this brilliantly. He says, "Those who in trouble, untroubled are, will trouble itself." Man, what he's conveying here is just profound. Your psychological stability is a formidable form of strength. By remaining undisturbed, you actually neutralize the adversity. You literally strip the uncertain situation of its power over you.
So, think about how we actually apply this as officers on the ground. Step 1, you avoid reactive paralysis. You know, when a crisis hits, your very first impulse is usually to freeze or panic. Equanimity stops that dead in its tracks. Step 2, it allows public servants to analyze problems objectively, so you get rational decision-making instead of impulsive, knee-jerk reactions. And step 3, this is absolutely crucial. You use that emotional intelligence to build resilient communities. A calm leader helps the public withstand crises, whether that's a natural disaster, rising social tensions, or a wild spread of misinformation.
Moving right along to Section 2, William James on AI and mindset.
So with rapid digital transitions and AI threatening traditional systems right now, how do you govern without just completely burning out? We need another quick definition timeout, this time for human agency. Put simply, it's your ability to act willfully and influence your own life. Look, you might not be able to control massive systemic economic variables, but your agency lies entirely in your attitude and your cognitive framing. And this brings us to a perfect realization from the 19th century philosopher William James. He said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes." In the context of governance today, with ever-increasing instances of existential fatigue, this is the ultimate tool. Our attitude entirely dictates our success in navigating change. Just think about the contrast in approaches here. A fixed mindset, that's the old rule-based mentality, where people feel like absolute victims to circumstances, completely overwhelmed by AI and rapid digital changes. But a growth mindset, that is where William James's philosophy completely empowers you. By using human agency, you adapt. You shift from rigid, bureaucratic thinking to proactive, citizen-centric governance. The first step for any transformative societal change absolutely has to start internally, with your attitude. Once you shift that, the external results follow.
All right, Section 3, Swami Vivekananda, on morality versus laws.
Now, I know what the skeptics are thinking. Aren't strong legal frameworks, strict cyber laws, and heavy penalties enough to stop digital corruption or algorithmic bias? Like, do we really need philosophy for this? Well, the source material makes it crystal clear. No, they absolutely aren't enough. Because even when laws are complied with, if there is a weak ethical commitment, that compliance is only in form, not in spirit. Relying solely on laws, that just creates a highly fragile society. Let's define collective morality to really understand why. Swami Vivekananda believed this is a shared moral sense rooted in spiritual knowledge. It's that invisible force that compels people to choose to do what is right, even when nobody is watching. He taught the principles of practical Vedanta, the oneness of existence, the divinity in every single soul, and selfless service. And that right there is the true foundation of social order.
This is perfectly summarized in his quote. The strength of a society is not in its laws, but in the morality of its people. The major takeaway here, in a massive democracy like India, laws merely provide a baseline.
They literally cannot legislate empathy, integrity, or kindness. They need ethical citizens to breathe actual life into them.
In practice, look, we have laws against corruption, right? But it takes ethical citizens actively using the RTI Act to actually expose it. We have laws for fundamental rights, but protecting the vulnerable often requires ethical citizens stepping up and filing public interest litigations. And today, with algorithms regulating so much of our online behavior, we desperately need this morality applied as digital ethics. We need genuine community support and responsible digital citizenship in this hyper-connected world.
Okay, Section 4, the complete ethical officer.
We can actually synthesize these three distinct pillars into what I like to call the trifecta of the ethical officer. From Thiruvalluvar, you gain inner resilience that gives you the character and calm to manage major crises. From William James, you embrace human agency, developing an adaptable mindset that actually thrives in the face of AI and digital disruption. And from Swami Vivekananda, you adopt collective morality, building social strength and ethics that go way beyond mere legal compliance. Honestly, true progress demands all three. Which brings us to Section 5, cracking the mains answer.
This is the climax of our explainer, guys. Let's transition from theoretical debate to concrete exam execution. Here is the exact anatomy of a high-scoring 10 or 15-marker ethics answer. Your introduction: it must hit the examiner with a standard, crisp definition of the core ethical term, just like the layman timeouts we did today. For the body, whatever you do, do not just summarize the quote. You have to map the theory directly to real-life administrative friction, like AI disruptions or leveraging the RTI. Finally, the way forward or conclusion is where you synthesize these concepts for a strong, actionable close. Let's do a live example right now.
Imagine you're sitting in the exam hall, the clock is ticking, and you see this highly probable mains question. Discuss how Vivekananda's morality applies to digital citizenship and online behavior. 150 words. The real challenge here is, how do we structure a perfect, concise answer on the spot, using exactly what we've learned?
Well, here is your 150-word answer blueprint. Intro. Start by defining collective morality and explicitly contrasting it with the fragility of relying only on cyber laws. Body paragraph 1. Address the friction. Mention how algorithmic bias and digital echo chambers require human empathy, not just government regulation. Body paragraph 2. Bring in the specific theory. State that Vivekananda's practical Vedanta and the oneness of existence translate today to responsible information sharing and selfless digital support. Finally, the conclusion. Deliver a punchy synthesis. State that just as ethical citizens use the RTI to fight administrative corruption, practicing digital ethics is our modern tool for social order, making morality the ultimate firewall. That structure, it absolutely proves to the examiner that ancient philosophy directly solves modern digital friction.
And that brilliantly brings us to the end of our explainer. We've seen that inner resilience, human agency, and collective morality are the true drivers of governance. Look, true progress requires ethical citizens, not just rigid systems or flawless AI algorithms. So as you prepare to step into the incredibly important role of a public servant, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. What kind of officer will you be? Keep learning, keep structuring your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next one.